And I thought you needed to, like, have a load of bear skills as well at the same time to trigger the other half. But the bear is kind of cool because while you're doing bear stuff with the legendary, it procs all of the storm stuff that are on the same thing. So if you trample, you get a free hurricane. If you debilitate and roar, you get a free cyclone armor. So it's kind of interesting. It kind of doubles up as a werebear one as well, because you can get some of the other storm spares off of the bear. So when I misunderstood, I had like a mix of 3 bear skills and 3 werewolf skills. So I was doing every element, every transformation, and I was just going absolutely nuts. It's kind of fun, but it'd take me a little while to sit there and respec, so I won't do that now while someone's watching the stream. But yeah, that was something I was playing around with earlier on. I think it's very fun visually to see some more stuff going on the screen, but a 20% chance to happen is also an 80% chance for it not to happen. So, very random. That was the rolling boulder. Oh my god, these guys keep summoning so many. I think the problem is this guy's a vampiric, so I just need to get rid of him now, immediately. There we go. That should ease things up. But yeah, I think the boulder's my favourite one. Yeah. If I was one of these guys, I'd run away. Oh, that boulder again! Knocked him into the wall! Ended the fight with 6 out of 6 potions, so it was easy. Let's see. Travel to the Louse of 3? I think that's supposed to be pronounced Louse, I'm not too sure. Alright, this guy's cold enchanted, that's not too bad. We'll go for the mortar guy. Whoa, what the hell is all that? It's a good question. I mean, like, if I went back in time, I would do Druid all over again.
The buzzing, the incessant buzzing, constantly, everywhere, in my ears, in my head, and then the stench, oh, putrid, foul, cloying, corrupt. There is no escape. Am I dead already? Is this hell? Who knows? Would it be so different than life in Sanctuary?
Oh wow. But I am looking forward to going through as all the other classes as well. That is definitely something I'll do. I have quite a lot of free time, so I think I am going to play everyone. But Druid has been a lot of fun. Like, it doesn't matter to me if it's the best or not. The fun factor is just huge. Like, when I said I had half bear skills, half werewolf skills earlier, that was a lot of fun as well, seeing werewolf. It's it's a completely different game, almost. So there's like 3 more games to play, even with just playing druid some more. So yeah, I kind of appreciate that there's a lot to do this time round. Yeah, my Steam library is filled with games that I have 2,000 plus hours on, and I think there's a couple in there where I have 3,000 hours on them. So I'm a big fan of replayability, absolutely. Yeah, I certainly got my my £35 worth out of some of those games that I played for several thousand hours. Interestingly, to buy this game, I didn't spend £70, which actually, you know, is quite a lot of money. I just converted all the WoW gold that I had made, that I never really spent since World of Warcraft released in 2004 or 2005. So I never ever really got to buy anything within World of Warcraft, but I brought this, so that's cool. Ancient statues to return to the pedestals. Maybe one's over here. Nope. Oof, off the top of my head, I can't remember. That's Alt-Tab. Is Steam open? Steam? Okay. It won't show up on the stream because I'm just streaming it directly. Warframe, 3,355 hours. Tree of Savior, 3,121 hours. Prime World, which is a Russian-released version of Dota, kind of, is like a bit of a rip-off. 2,767 hours. Path of Exile, 1,831 hours. Mobius Final Fantasy, 1,449. Dota 2, 1,395 hours. Grim Dawn, 1,047 hours, which is another ARPG like this. No Moria, 602 hours. And the list starts to go down from there, but like 217 hours in Payday 2, and yeah, I end up with a lot of free time. Yeah, I do love role-playing games. Like got a Final Fantasy 14 account as well, and I've played like most of the Final Fantasy games all the way through. That's good stuff. At Rolling Boulder. But yeah, overall the idea, now that I've got my streaming set up, hopefully, is to fix any small errors with my server, where I'm holding all the files and all the recordings, and then record every game ever made that's vaguely interesting all the way through with a review at the end, and just go through every game, like even going back to games from the Sega Mega Drive or the Sega Genesis, if you're one of the countries that localized it as that. Super Nintendo, just everything all the way through, all consoles, all games, all time. Let's just complete them all, put them up on YouTube, stream them on Twitch, whatever. I'm sure I can do it. It is, but also I'm okay at games. I think I can do it. Like I've already got some up there. Like the YouTube URL is the same as my Twitch one, but just YouTube at the beginning. And I've completed some things, but I moved house and then I packed all this stuff away, and I just hadn't unpacked it all for 3 years. Whoops, took a little bit long with that, but now I'm back with a vengeance. There was a lot of great games out there that I missed just because I was playing MMORPGs and not setting things back up, and even in my old house. Well, I'm not as great as a 12-year-old Korean kid, because those guys can game far much better than me. Their reaction times are just out of this world. Like, how am I supposed to StarCraft against any of them? I would lose immediately. Actions per minute, I think, is what we're looking at here. I think that's my problem. But yeah, like, I haven't played through Dark Souls 2 or 3, and I've only tried a little bit of Dark Souls 1. Didn't manage to get a recording of it. And I didn't get a recording of me playing Elden Ring. And then there's Dragon's Dogma as well. Now, all of those games really deserve like a full streamed playthrough, and they deserve to be up on YouTube and have a little review on the end. And I owe those games that, because those games seem awesome. Like, I have to get them up there. Like, if nothing else, just those ones. So I think that's the gold standard. Like, you get a game that comes along and someone says, well, is it harder than Dark Souls? So you've got to get a record of you completing Dark Souls up on the internet. Yeah, what I played at Dark Souls 1 was amazing, but while I was doing one of the bosses, and I don't put this down directly to Dark Souls, but just coincidentally, while I was doing one of the bosses, my graphics card produced a load of black smoke and burnt out, and it was gone, and the PC would not boot, and if you tried to boot it, there was a electrical burning smell, so that PC was done for, whilst I was trying to record some Dark Souls 1. So, rest in peace my 980 Ti NVIDIA card. He was a good boy, but he died during active duty. Yeah, he's doing graphics for God now. So yeah, I got a server computer for upstairs to hold all the files. It's even holding these files that I'm recording right now. I'm streaming to the internet and I'm recording to another computer upstairs. Pretty cool. Except that I haven't quite figured out how to run a virtual machine copy of Windows 10 in order to, you know, edit and export my files, which I need to do. Because the one thing that always used to annoy me at my old house was the gaming computer isn't very good when you have to stop using it for 2 hours in order to make a 30-minute video. That's kind of awful. I only took 30 minutes to make this video, and now it's taken me 2 hours to export it to a video file. So the genius idea is to have the other computer do it while I can still use this one. Because I just don't like having my computer offline for that long. And yeah, just ran into a little bit of troubles, but I'm sure I can figure it out when I'm not live streaming. But at the moment I'm live streaming until it's time to maybe go to sleep, to wake up for the next day to live stream some more. I'm a live streaming junkie now. It's so fun to be broadcasting and recording. Yeah, I've got dual 16TB hard drives in there, but with the way it works, it's keeping like a backup version of everything on one of the two drives. So even though I brought two 16TB drives, you only get 16TB of space out of that, which is disappointing. That each extra drive you add in, it doesn't take up like an extra 2 drives per drive. Just one of the drives, one of the biggest drives, has to be this backup copy thing. And it's kind of interesting, because even if you add like, I don't know, even if I added like 4 more 16GB drives, still just that first drive can handle the backup of all of them, so it must be really well organized or compressed or whatever they do, some kind of computer wizardry. And I keep on walking on these traps and it's bad. Yeah, so it's neat, but I think a 12-hour recording was 70GB, and with the way OBS does it, OBS tells you to make sure it's a .nkv file instead of a .mp4 file, because if the stream is ever interrupted on an MP4 file, you break the whole file and you've got nothing. Whereas if your stream is interrupted on an MKV file, it can kind of handle it and it just cuts off where it cuts off. So then what you have to do, I've got this 70GB 12-hour file, and then what you have to do is you have to convert it into an MP4 once you're done and it's safe. So you end up with 2 70GB files. You can delete the first one once you've made the second one, but yeah. So it starts to get lunacy if you record in any kind of quality. And I'm recording in a much better quality than what Twitch will let you even upload to the internet as a live stream. Because YouTube will let you upload like a permanent video of much higher quality. And it makes sense, you know, it's not a fault of Twitch's, it's just, you know, YouTube is for hosting videos and Twitch is for live streaming. But yeah, I like to be on both platforms, because I want a permanent copy so that I can go back and look at my adventures, maybe when I'm too injured to play video games anymore. Yes, I sort of do. So every half hour of the video is actually a much smaller size once you've exported it properly, because of techniques with the exporting software. And I keep those. So I've got a copy of every single Dota 2 match I've recorded and everything else, but they're like 100 times or 10 times or 12 times or whatever times smaller than what the original raw file was. But it takes ages. Like I say, sometimes it can take like 2 hours just to convert 30 minutes of footage into a much smaller video that you can then publish to YouTube and keep a copy of and get rid of the old one. It's all time. You're always converting time. And having a second computer that can do that for me while I carry on enjoying my first computer, that's the key for me. Yeah. There's a lot of effort going into some of these things, or if not effort, time at the very least. Because I do like a little bit of editing. I have to add a title card to the beginning of the video on YouTube, and then make an end card and cut bits in the middle where it's like, if I walk off to go get a drink, I try and cut that for YouTube because they don't need to see it. And then sometimes if I'm not talking on the loading screen, I'll try and cut the loading screen out of the final video, so I actually sit there and go through it. And you have to sit there and go through it before you can then export it to a video. So your 2 hours is now 2 hours and 20 minutes to look at a 30-minute bit of clip. It just gets mad. But the cool thing is, if I get it set up upstairs, you can sort of set it in a queue where you can still edit the next video while it's processing the last one. It's called like Adobe Media Encoder or something or other that can sit there and kind of task it in the background, which is cool. But I'm very unlucky as well. I brought these fancy network cards to send the data upstairs quicker, because I don't want to be sitting there waiting for data to transfer upstairs. And it just so happens with the processor that I brought, if you install these network cards, it blue screens it if you've got all of your cores turned on. So I've got this processor with some of the cores turned off right now. Because it just causes a blue screen anytime I turn the computer on with these network cards and this processor. Which is genius. And there's no fix for it yet, apparently, and there might never be. The last time the company made drivers was in 2019. So there's not much hope for them fixing that. Oh cool, we got the best shrine. This shrine is so fun. There's more monsters. Like, look at that. What even is this? Yeah, you used to be able to one time purchase the Adobe stuff, but they make more money from their new subscription service. I call it new, but they've had it for years now. You used to just buy a version, and then you had that version for a lifetime. And now it's awful. I'll tell you what you want to look at instead of Adobe, if you're not used to anything yet. There is an absolutely free one that is amazing called DaVinci Resolve. I don't know the spelling, but I think it's, you know, like Leonardo da Vinci. But it's DaVinci Resolve, and it's like super free Adobe. But whereas Adobe's got everything, this is more like just Adobe Premiere Pro, DaVinci Resolve. So the cool thing about Adobe is that all the different programs tie in. If you want to edit a bit of Adobe audio in Adobe Premiere Pro, you can just right-click on it and tell it to open in whatever the audio one's called for Adobe, and they're all linked together in a way that it shares RAM and everything else while it's doing things. Whereas DaVinci Resolve is just Premiere Pro by itself, so it's not the full suite. But you can find replacements for everything. They're just not all bundled to work together immediately in a special way. I think they're even ahead of the time, DaVinci, because the DaVinci I think can do the AV1 encoding off the very, very newest graphic cards, whereas Adobe I still don't think can do that. Oh, we're going to stun him soon. There we go. I don't even need to dodge that attack. I do just fine without. Oh, no, he's got more phases. Okay. Now things are getting interesting. Ah, so the blue numbers, that actually came up on a loading tip that lasted for long enough for me to read it. Yellow numbers critical, blue numbers are overpowers, and orange numbers are critical overpowers. And then I think we had another loading screen that said, even if you've got no skill way to proc an overpower, all characters begin with a 3% chance, or something like that, to overpower just naturally. So the loading screens are teaching us. When there's enough people playing the game and the loading screens get longer, because that's how it works on this, we get to learn things. I was actually trying to do the epilogue last night after winning the game, and the game went down. Like, the whole servers for everybody just went. And then there were ginormous queues to get in, and at the end of the queue it would just kick you out. It would just say, sorry, can't find the game, good night, and kick you off. Yeah, Yeah. You can tell when the game's getting a bit bogged down early as well, because you'll go to the blacksmith, and instead of having a preview of your character on the right-hand side, there'll just be a load of mist where your character's picture should be, and it's not able to retrieve it from the server.